On my birthday night, my mom posted a group selfie from dinner. Her caption read, "Nothing is more important than being together." Hours before she had texted, "We're too busy to celebrate." I stayed silent. Then I received a request on Venmo. $1,300 for a restaurant. Without thinking twice, I sent a shocking gift. I turned 30 this year. 30? That number is supposed to mean something, right? A milestone, a checkpoint. But when I woke up on the morning of my birthday, the only ping I got was from the family group chat. "Congratulations." No emojis, no name, no follow-up. Just a gray bubble from my mother's number, swallowed up instantly by my sister's usual chaos. One sending names about her new puppy chewing up the couch. Another dropping a video of her toddler smashing blueberries with a wooden spoon. Not a single person said the words, "Happy birthday, Jeff." That morning, I let it go. I told myself it's fine. People are busy. Maybe they were planning something. Maybe they just forgot, which somehow felt less awful than them not caring. Around noon, I texted my mom. Me. "Hey, any plans tonight? Just wondering." It took her an hour and a half to respond. "Mom, we're too busy to celebrate, honey. We'll do something later this month." No explanation, no apology, just like that. But then around 8 p.m., I was scrolling through Instagram, half watching my son build a fort in the living room when I saw it. A selfie, posted by my mom. They were at a restaurant I knew, expensive, loud, downtown. And there they were, my parents, all three of my sisters, their partners, even the toddler and the damn puppy sitting in someone's lap with a napkin bib. All of them smiling. The caption hit like a slap. "Nothing matters more than being together." I stared at it. I kept staring. There were champagne flutes on the table. Balloons. A little card propped up in the centerpiece that read, "Congrats on your new baby." Except it wasn't a baby. It was the dog. My youngest sister had just bought a golden retriever. They had thrown a party for the dog on my birthday, and they didn't invite me. I didn't reply. I didn't comment. I didn't call. I just sat there listening to the faint sound of cartoons in the background while my phone buzzed again. A Venmo request from my mom. $1,300 memo. "Dinner for everyone. Love you." She didn't say a word about the dinner in the chat. Didn't even attempt to explain. Just sent the bill like I was their bank account. Like I was supposed to pay for a dinner I wasn't even invited to. On my birthday, I stared at that request, thumb hovering. I could have ignored it, declined it quietly. But something cracked open in me then. Years of swallowing things. Years of being the dependable one. The one who pays. The one who helps with rent. The one who lends his car or foots the Airbnb bill for family trips I don't even enjoy. This time, I didn't let it go. I sent back a message instead of money. "Hope dinner was nice. I won't be sending the $1,300. Also, starting this month, I'm done paying Rachel's rent. I've supported her for 2 years. It ends now." I didn't wait for their reaction. I muted the group chat, put my phone down, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. It didn't last long. The next day, hell arrived at my doorstep. The next morning started normal. The kids were at the table eating cereal. Cartoons were on low in the background, and I was halfway through my first coffee when the doorbell rang. Not just once. Over and over like someone was leaning on it. I knew right away who it had to be. Only one person rings like that. I opened the door, and there they were, my mom and dad standing like they were dropping by to borrow sugar. My mom had sunglasses on even though it was cloudy. My dad looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. She didn't wait for me to say a word, just walked right past me into the house. My dad followed quiet, hands in his jacket pockets. I didn't ask what they were doing here. I already knew. It wasn't about the birthday, not about the dinner or the dog or even the Venmo. It was about what I didn't do. I didn't send the money. And worse, I said no to Rachel's rent. That was the unspoken contract. I pay, they smile. I stop, they retaliate. She went straight to the kitchen like it was hers. No small talk. No eye contact. She opened the cabinet with the plates, took one out, and dropped it. Shattered. She didn't flinch. I thought I misread it at first. Maybe her grip slipped. Maybe it was an accident. But then she pulled out another and let it fall. Then another. My 6-year-old peeked around the corner and froze. I told the kids to go upstairs. My daughter asked what was happening. I didn't answer. I just told them to go now. I turned back just in time to see her move to the mugs. She picked out the world's best dad one. My son gave me that last year, made it with his school photo glued inside. She held it for a second like she was thinking about it. Then she dropped it. That one didn't shatter. It cracked down the middle and rolled off under the stove. I asked her what she was doing. She didn't respond. Didn't yell. Just kept grabbing whatever she could reach. Plates, bowls, a Pyrex dish, dropping them one after the other like she was performing some twisted ritual. My dad stood there the whole time, arms crossed, not helping, not stopping her. I told her to stop. Told my dad to get her out. He shrugged like he wasn't part of this. Like he hadn't co-signed every time they lean on me financially for years. Like they hadn't spent my 20s turning me into the family's backup wallet. I wasn't going to scream in front of my kids. But I pulled out my phone, told them if they didn't leave in the next 30 seconds, I'd call the police. That's when something shifted. My mom froze. My dad finally stepped in. He put a hand on her arm and whispered something I couldn't hear. Then they walked out. Just like that. No explanation, no apology. My floor was covered in shards. My kids upstairs trying to make sense of the crash they'd just heard. I didn't call the cops, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't want my kids to see their grandparents taken away in handcuffs. And part of me still hoped they might come to their senses. But I was done pretending. That night, I took pictures of the broken dishes and cracked tile. I saved the security cam footage of them walking in, not out of spite, but because I knew this wasn't the end. By morning, the house was quiet, but not peaceful. The kids kept asking if Grandma was coming back. I just said no. I wasn't about to explain to a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old why their grandparents had stormed in and smashed dishes like maniacs that I took out the trash, dumped the last of the broken plates, and checked my phone. 15 missed calls, 7 voicemails, 3 texts from unknown numbers, and 1 new message in the family group chat. From Megan, my oldest sister. Just 3 words. You're unbelievable. No context. No questions. Just judgment. A few minutes later, Aunt Lydia called. I didn't pick up, but she left a voicemail. Calm voice. But I could tell she was straining to sound neutral. Jeffrey, sweetheart, I don't know exactly what happened, but your mom is very upset. She says you threatened them. She's crying. And honestly, we're all concerned about how this is affecting everyone. I just hope you'll be the bigger person, the bigger person. That phrase again. Always me. Always the one expected to forgive, to pay, to cover the damage, to let things go. Never the one protected by noon. I'd already heard the story Mom was spreading. According to her, I lost control. I cursed them out, threatened violence. My wife screamed at them in front of the kids. She wasn't even home when they showed up. And supposedly they only left because they were terrified when I pulled out my phone to call the cops. Conveniently, she left out the part where she shattered a dozen dishes in my kitchen like it was some rage ritual. Then came Rachel's text. So, that's it? You just cut me off? Rent's due tomorrow. You could have said something instead of making this public. Hope you're proud of yourself. Proud. I didn't even feel anger anymore, just empty. Like I'd finally quit a job I hated, only to sit in the parking lot afterward wondering what came next. They still didn't get it. Years of me quietly paying, covering emergency car payments, loaning Megan $2,000 for that MLM scam she never paid back, covering Rachel's rent for 2 years straight, paying for my parents' anniversary dinner, Megan's baby shower, the Airbnb for a family trip I didn't even enjoy. Thousands of dollars gone without thanks. And the second I finally said no, I became the villain. So I wrote something. No rage. No rant. Just the truth. I posted the truth on Facebook for every aunt, uncle, cousin, and family friend to see. Yesterday, my parents entered my home uninvited and started smashing dishes in front of my kids. This was less than 24 hours after they hosted a dinner to celebrate my sister's new puppy. A dinner I wasn't invited to on my 30th birthday. Then they sent me a Venmo request for $1,300. I declined and told them I would no longer be paying Rachel's rent, which I've covered for 2 years. I'm done being used. I'm not angry. I'm finished. And I'm saying this publicly so no one can rewrite the story later. I turned off comments, left the post up, and went about my day. By evening, it had spread. My cousin Evan texted me, "Yo, your post's blowing up. Aunt Lydia is pissed at your mom. She called her out in the group chat. Everyone's talking." Then my Uncle Mike messaged privately, "Damn time. You've been carrying those girls since college. Let them sink or swim." Suddenly, the silence from my mom's side felt different. Not defensive, stunned. She hadn't expected the truth to get out. She definitely hadn't expected people to take my side. I didn't reply to anyone that night. But I did take one final step. I called Rachel's landlord and told him that, effective immediately, I would no longer be the emergency contact or financial backup. I emailed him too, just so it was in writing. If she needed help, it would have to come from someone else. The next day, the retaliation began. I thought the worst had already happened, that smashing dishes in front of my kids was as low as it could go. But I was wrong. I underestimated what happens when selfish people lose control of the one they've been leaning on. It started quietly. My daughter's school called first thing in the morning. The receptionist said someone claiming to be my wife's mother had requested access to my daughter's school records because she was concerned about the child's home environment. My wife's mom has been dead for 3 years. That same day, Rachel posted a long, dramatic Facebook status about how she was being abandoned by the only man who ever showed up for her. How she was losing her home because of cruelty disguised as boundaries. She tagged me. She tagged our mom. She even tagged her ex, the one I paid to move out quietly after he cheated, the same one who later tried to blackmail her with old photos. And suddenly, my inbox was flooded. Messages from people I barely knew, old classmates, distant cousins, friends of friends. What happened? Rachel seemed so hurt, so betrayed. Not one of them mentioned the 2 years I covered her rent. Not one brought up how I paid her electric bill just 2 months ago while she was in Miami with her friends. Then it escalated. That weekend, someone filed 2 noise complaints against my house. I live in a quiet neighborhood. We don't throw parties. My wife was at work, and I was reading bedtime stories to my kids when the second call came in. The officer at the door looked embarrassed. Someone had reported screaming and glass breaking, but my house was calm. The next day, my car was keyed and my wife's tire slashed. I didn't accuse anyone, but I didn't have to. Then came the email. My mom blasted the family with claims I was unstable, that my wife controlled me, and that my kids were at risk. She even twisted old texts to prove it. That crossed a line. I'd already saved evidence, the dishes, the voicemails, the posts. Now I called my lawyer. But before anything moved forward, my cousin Melissa tipped me off. In the group chat, Evan posted a screen recording of Rachel and Megan laughing on Snapchat. Let's see how long it takes Jeff to crack. He always breaks when mom plays the kid card. The chat exploded. My uncle Mike called them parasites. My mom left the group. Then Rachel. Then Megan. Silence replaced their fake concern. That night, Melissa called. You've done more for this family than anyone. You don't owe them anything. I don't know why I stayed quiet, but I'm done watching them twist you. She admitted mom had been laying this groundwork for a year, telling people I'd forgotten my roots. It finally clicked. They didn't miss me. Only what I gave. So, I started cutting cords. Canceled the family streaming accounts under my name. Called the family lawyer to remove me from any ties, financial, medical, legal. Updated my will, set up a trust for my kids, and named my wife's brother as guardian. For once, I put my family, my real family, first. I left nothing to my parents or sisters, not out of spite, but clarity. They were no longer part of my life. I updated my Facebook post with one line. If you've ever benefited from my silence, that era is over. This time, I left comments on. Support poured in. People confirmed what I'd long suspected. Mom badmouthed my wife. Megan bragged about manipulating me. For the first time, no one was asking me for money. Just quiet. 3 weeks later, there was a knock at the door. My dad stood there with Megan and Rachel. No, Mom. I stepped outside, shut the door behind me. Rachel said, we're losing the apartment. Megan added, we know we messed up, but we're still family. Then came the ask. Rent money. I told them the truth. You tried guilt, public pressure, even scaring my kids. You crossed every line. And now that it failed, you're here hoping I'll cave. I won't. I'm not deleting the post. I'm not helping. I'm done. I walked back inside. That was the last time I saw them. Later, Melissa told me relatives confronted mom, said I hadn't abandoned anyone. They abandoned me the second I stopped paying. She still hasn't called. Maybe she will someday, but the door isn't open anymore. Now, life is quiet. No sudden Venmo requests, no shattered dishes, no guilt trips. Just dinners with my kids, real birthdays, and peace. And I'll take that over being the dependable one any day.